What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we're going to be talking about something really interesting, and it's to do with some never before seen footage of a Vex cutscene that has recently emerged, possibly showing their birthplace or home planet, and we're going to be talking about it, what it is, where it came from, and of course my thoughts on what it might mean. So a Reddit user called the Storm Spartan found something on Vimeo that nobody's ever picked up on before, and I first saw this from Fuzzle, one of the awesome Reddit mods who pointed this out to me. Now, this is actually a video made from a company called Prologue Films, so I tried to look them up, couldn't find much, but they appear to be an animation or production company that's helped make some of these CGI cutscenes you have right now in Destiny. So the ones you're seeing on screen right now, these are all made or partly made by the production company called Prologue Films. But 6 months ago, they posted a montage of Destiny expansions and cutscenes or cinematics from those expansions. It's also really important to keep in mind that this was posted 6 months ago, back in August, even before Rise of Iron was out. And interestingly, it doesn't include any Rise of Iron footage. So about 6 hours after this was actually first discovered and started to circulate a little bit on Reddit, the video actually got taken down last night off of Vimeo, which is really interesting. And that is always how you know that something is definitely sensitive footage. If Activision are taking stuff down, that's how you know something is real. So that is a very big red flag. So because they have been taking it down, I assume I probably wouldn't be allowed to upload the footage here either. But you can see some screenshots on screen like I'm showing right now. And I'll also put some links at the top of the description where you can watch the full video for yourself and all the actual Vex cutscenes. I highly encourage you to go watch the footage at the top of the description and you'll understand the context of this video. It's also worth noting this definitely is not fake or fan-made. Prologue Films is a real company that does work with Bungie on their expansion cinematics. They are official, and even if that wasn't the case, this is way too well made to be from a fan animation. It looks absolutely amazing. Once again, if Activision took it down, you know it's definitely real. So with that said, now the question is, what is this actually from and what might it mean? And of course, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Before anyone gets really too excited and thinks this might be from a future expansion, I highly doubt that. As we all know, Bungie is of course focusing on Destiny 2, and also doubts from the upcoming spring DLC or thing from the live team that we're getting soon. Just seems a bit much, and especially seeing as this was posted 6 months ago, the live team wouldn't have been working on the spring update way back then. So what I do actually think this could be is a cinematic from the Cut Vex Void expansion. So if you've been around since year 1, you might remember this screen right here, which is from a leaked internal presentation at Bungie. And at the time, all this leaked info showed basically all the DLCs and the future content we would expect back in year 1. So you can see the Dark Below, then House of Wolves, and then Comet Plague of Darkness, which is the early name for Taken King. Then after it showed an expansion called Vex Void, and also Forge of the Gods. We still don't know exactly what happened to those 2 expansions. We assume they got cut. Bungie never actually acknowledged what they were and never talked about them, so we can assume they probably scrapped them to focus entirely on Destiny 2. But regardless, there always was that cut Vex expansion called a Vex Void. No one really knew what happened to it, but my best guess is that this cinematic was actually made for it, and this company accidentally included it because they didn't know it wasn't actually supposed to be in this montage. And once again, you do also need to think, why would Activision want to take this down? It does make perfect sense if it's from some scrapped assets from an expansion that was never made, like Vex Void. And if it was just some standard Vex stock footage, there'd be no reason for them to want to take it down off the internet. There's definitely something sensitive about these Vex cinematics. So if we look through some of these shots of this footage, there are a few really interesting things we can pick out and kind of break down from it. It seems to be the birthplace of the Vex and maybe their home planet. Definitely not a location we've ever seen in the game right now, but this scene appears to be underwater, and there's kind of this huge triangle in the distance, which does look very similar to the throne in Vault of Glass, which is also that kind of giant triangle shape. The next scene is the very longest one, and you can see the kind of Vex milk being fused with their metal bodies. Now, a fun fact, if you actually look into the lore of Destiny, there's a strong theory that the Vex is actually that liquid you're seeing, and the metal robot bodies are just based like their weapon suits they sit in to go to war, but that shiny fluid is actually the Vex, which is kind of like a microscopic race that's all linked together. So it's almost like the Vex are a bunch of like tiny bacteria that use these robot bodies to go to war, essentially. But here you can see the bodies basically come to life when the fluid goes through them, and their red eye turns on. Really cool. And the final scene, you can see some kind of Vex just being awoken and coming out of the water, and possibly forming some kind of army. But watching this was just so cool. It literally got me so ridiculously excited. Even though it was only 10 seconds of footage, it gives me the same feeling as watching like a brand new reveal trailer for an expansion. I'm sure you guys felt the same. It makes you think about how exciting it'll actually be to finally watch that Destiny 2 trailer. But yeah, this is definitely some really interesting footage. I'd always assumed the Vex Void expansion wasn't even made, and they just kind of had a concept for it with a name. But seeing as I've got this cinematic properly made for it and rendered out, it makes me think there might have been even more content made for this that ended up getting scrapped as well. And every other video in this montage is all from an expansion, other than the one of the astronauts landing on Mars. It's all from separate DLCs we've eventually got, so it makes sense for this Vex cinematic to also be from some kind of Vex expansion. And another reason you can tell this definitely isn't a fan-made troll is that this was posted 6 months ago and never promoted. It's just sat here on the official Prologue Films Vimeo channel, and this whole time it just got 10 views over the 6 months. If this is a guy trying to troll and get attention like we always see, they'd probably be the ones posting it to Reddit with a crazy title trying to get people to talk about it. But this is literally put here by the original company to just document their work, and it's sat here for nearly half a year until a Reddit user spotted it yesterday, and now of course it's been deleted. There is also another possibility that some people have been speculating about, and that's that it could be the original trailer for the Vault of Glass raid, but I do think if it was from the Vault, I don't see why they wouldn't have released it, and clearly way too much work went into making this, they would have just put it into the game, and even though we only have about 10 seconds of footage, it doesn't really look like anything in the Vault, to be honest, apart from the giant triangle, which definitely is similar, but quite different in the same way. Nothing is that recognizable, and it all looks like a different area that doesn't exist right now in Destiny, but either way, we probably won't ever see what this is from, and I bet it's just going to be one of those mysteries that's been scrapped along with a bunch of other stuff we'll never find out about. But do let me know your thoughts in the comment section where you think it's from. As always, a like rating on the video would be much appreciated if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.